James Bond, No Time to Die. My third time seeing it today, this bozo's first time seeing it. So before we get on with the review today, mate, let's just get to the main crux of it. I just want to say one thing. I'm not just any old 00, I'm 007. Let's cut to the chase.
Yeah.
The very end scene. What are your thoughts?
The end.
Yeah.
It's trying to be a finale to Craig's, ending.
Yeah.
Which was shocking in the way that they ended him, but in a way I'm glad that they ended that Bond. So you've got the proper finale, James era.
By the way, I noticed that you turned to me in the cinema when Bond gets blown up, and I was actually scratching my cheek. I wasn't breaking down or crying. I kind of thought you might. I was probably doing that, but I wasn't. So, but I think this is my third time seeing it, and I felt a little bit moved more than I should have, which is amazing because the first time I saw it, I didn't feel nothing. I just felt like no pity, no remorse. I'm cold and calculated that way. I can't help it. It's just the way I was brought up. And and second time, my friend was a bit like, "Oh, that happened."
Yeah,
but
it was surprising.
It's to me, it's like there's no world stakes in this Bond film because everything is like self-contained, even though there is something at stake if this virus gets out. And that's pretty much how the real life CIA or the MI6 works, because I've kind of worked in that sector without giving anything away. So while everybody's getting down to their day-to-day 9-to-5 lives, there are bigger things happening in the world. You just won't know about it. So I thought this film captured that very well. But I do understand why people say, like yourself, it's not a big cheesy Bond, blah blah blah.
It's fine. I think if I go through just like the big plus points. The scenes when he was in Cuba and really just being Bond.
Ana de Armas. Wow.
That was the best scene.
Why is she only in the film for 10 minutes as Paloma? She's so funny. Another millennial, by the way.
She's
3
funny.
weeks training after obviously training for a long time as an agent, but she was damn funny, man.
Yeah, she was really, really funny. Her action scenes were really cool. They're really well handled. That was probably the best directed, best look scene in the film.
Because her and Daniel Craig are really great friends in real life because they were together, Knives Out. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
So she was awesome in that.
I thought the action overall up until that kind of part with the chase scene at the beginning and the scene in London, and that was really well handled. And the action overall was really good, but for me that was just a real kind of peak Bond. And then after that it was about 2 hours more of dealing with the sequel as a Spectre and ending the kind of finale, which it was kind of uncharted territory for Bond. Like he has a kid and they do finale, and it got more personal. There was a bit of a balance.
I need to ask you this question, right? Because Madeline says to Bond later on in the film, "That's not your kid," and it's like, but they were married, and obviously they would have bore a child 9 months later, but obviously that's in Bond's absence.
Yeah.
So why would Bond even believe for 1 minute somebody else will come into Madeline's life? Because
I don't think he did.
I don't. Yeah, that's what I thought. As soon as he saw the baby's blue eyes, Matilda is like, "No, that's my kid."
He knew that. It was kind of without saying it. They both knew it. They both kind of knew it without saying it. So that kind of made the stakes higher, because that he has a daughter and a child. In a way, it was nice that she lived on. The other big thing within the film, apart from that, was Lashana Lynch's character, which I liked her in other things I've seen her in. I liked her in this. I thought her chemistry with Craig was really quite good.
The chemistry is good.
It was fun, and they had a good back and forth banter.
Yeah.
Like he was annoying her, she was annoying him.
Although he did get the upper hand quite a lot of times. In Cuba, remember when she gets the doctor? By the way, didn't the doctor remind you, Obruchev, of Dr. Tobias Funke from...
He looked like him.
I'm sorry, David Cross, but you should have been in this film, mate.
I feel the same way as well. Like that was all well handled. I think the banter was good. I think that it was well handled because he was a lot more experienced than her.
Yes.
So that was kind of the point of it all, was that he was a real 00 and she was a young. She was kind of in his position from Casino Royale, which I liked the way they handled that. Yeah. And like I said, that was the best scene when they were all. It was, the whole Spectre scene.
When she fires that pitong at the wall in Cuba, then Bond just shoots it off to make her fall with Obruchev. I thought that was a really clever little move.
Yeah.
And
that was great. Oh, the whole sequence, like even small things when like he was like kept getting a drink.
And got you took the words out of my mouth, and he's kind of leaps over the bar, just like and he walks on his tuxedo like. That's fantastic.
I know you appreciate this more, but it's kind of made me want to go back and play these games, which is. This film, I'm not saying it took influence from those games.
Is it Bloodstone you're talking about? Yeah, Bloodstone is a great game.
Yeah, it is. It's the last game. Well, we've got a new Bond game coming out, which is cool. And that was last
IO
Daniel
Interactive.
Daniel Craig's last Bond game about 10 years ago.
Yes.
But my point is that the film, without actually having these references to the games, like Uncharted, Modern Warfare were heavily in this film, which I enjoyed.
Yeah.
That whole sequence felt like an Uncharted level, and the Modern Warfare sequence in the end, and the Hans Zimmer score helped as well, which was phenomenal. That all felt like a game.
You mentioned a video game, so Kari Joji Fukunaga, I don't know if you heard this story, but apparently the production of this film was delayed a lot because he was trying to finish Red Dead Redemption 2. So
really?
did you know Kari? Yeah, he's a gamer. So the fact you mentioned the fact, it's true. Look it up.
That makes sense.
Because the fact is, the film, like the third act, has a video game feel to it anyway.
It does.
And it really does. Like you mentioned, Call of Duty. I said it was Splinter Cell, which it definitely does have that feel. I mean, like Craig is dressed in the nines as Sam Fisher, and it's like, look, I'm going to make a bold prediction now. But if they announce a Splinter Cell movie, Daniel Craig is going to be the guy playing him. I'm telling you, he can do a good American accent. He's the right age as well for the character.
Yeah, he is easily. Well, I think that they should go for more of a fun kind of campy Bond, because I think that we've done a really good, serious kind of more Bond films to Craig.
Yeah.
But I think that you could do a bit different with different directors, like I said, Chris Nolan and Danny Boyle. Even Edgar Wright, there's a couple of directors that people always mention that they can direct a Bond film.
Yeah.
That'll be interesting. There's always like a list of people. For me, it's always been kind of Henry Cavill, Tom Hardy, or Tom Hiddleston, or one of those kind of guys, I think.
Well, Hiddleston's got a big forehead, so I'll rule him out. And he was kind of.
Who would you want then?
He was kind of the favourite until that whole thing with him and Tay-Tay. That all kind of like soured his reputation. Like,
who would you pick then? What would you want to do with the next Bond film, director, actor-wise? What would you want from it as a film?
Get a young actor. Who's preferably about in their approaching 30. So if they're going to give, because what Barbara Broccoli and Wilson have to do, they've got to choose somebody who's going to have a long tenure in the role. So like what? Daniel Craig's been in the role for 15 years. But he's only been in 5 films. Maybe for me, as a critic and enthusiast about TV and movies, I'm just going to keep my eyes open just for any person that pops up. I mean, I said Tom Holland would be a good choice, but he's so synonymous with Spider-Man. If you see Tom Holland as Bond, you're gonna think, oh, that's Peter Parker.
He's quite young.
Yeah, but then that's not detriment to Tom. I think that might be good, but I don't think it'll be him. Ultimately, they could set it in the 60s again, but someone mentioned a really good comment on YouTube where they said they feel like this film is not passing the torch, but torching the past. I think that's kind of an important point to recognise, and I hope when they announce who the new Bond is, they're not going to be torching the past. I want them to acknowledge the legacy that this series has created, this franchise, and move forward, like you said, back in the sort of a Pierce Brosnan era, because Pierce Brosnan was your first Bond, wasn't he?
Yeah. And I think, that's how I feel as well, is that it shouldn't be a period piece, it should be in a modern day. In a funny kind of way, the Mission Impossible films have done a good job of showing you what the James Bond films can be. So make it episodic. It doesn't have to be like a saga. You can just have like a new actor play him. And that's the good thing about Bond, is you have a new director every time come in and have their own take on it. So like Chris Nolan, Danny Boyle, whoever. Maybe even I think Tarantino was talking about he wanted to do one. And just have someone come in and do something kind of fun and less serious. And
the problem with Tarantino,
the Mission Impossible, that's since Ghost Protocol. I think they've, in a weird way, done great modern Bond films. So it can be that you can have the guy who does tech. You can have Bond who's more old school, that kind of thing.
Well, the thing with Mission Impossible, it did exactly that. It kind of said, oh look, we're not going to be Bond, but we'll be our own type of Bond. And for
especially
me,
Fallout.
And the thing is, when you go back and watch the Mission Impossible films in future, I mean, apart from 2, which is like a Hitchcock thriller more than an actual spy mission, like the rest of the Mission Impossible films all have great things about them. They won't date, they won't age. There'll be nothing you go, oh god, they shouldn't have done that. That's really non-PC. Everything is like really. Plus, Tom Cruise has kind of got that.
That's the good thing about it as well, is that they have new directors putting their stake in all the time, like Chris McQuarrie and Brad Bird. He could do Bond.
I wish Brad Bird would come back and do one, but I think they won't have him back for whatever reason.
That's just my point overall going forward. I'm really looking forward to the next Bond game, because it's been 10 years and I love Bloodstone. And I'm looking forward to the next film and I think next year we'll find out who's going to play him. But overall, a satisfying conclusion to Daniel Craig's Bond film, and I enjoyed it a lot.
But Daniel Craig, he's a great Bond, a little bit dour, but you know what? The last thing I want to say, mate, Casino Royale, that movie is a ton of fun from start to finish. Like there's not what, it's like the perfect movie. It like, doesn't miss a beat, nothing.
Yeah.
I've got to say I had a bit of a wry little grin at the end because, you know, all the time Nomi is giving Bond shit about, oh, I'm 007, blah, blah, blah. So when 007 meets his fate, she's just like, yeah, don't I feel like shit for taking this drink now? Sorry, Mr. Bond, I didn't mean to tease you about your number.
Yeah, that's funny, yeah.
That's a well-written female character for you there, guys. Really.
Yeah, it was funny.
But I will say, guys, thank you very much for watching this unfiltered, maybe slightly edited version that you're going to see later on my channel. So if you liked what you saw today, and if you liked my mate's contribution, because I thought he was a dude for coming out today and doing this, don't forget to like that like button, you smash that subscribe button right in its ghoulies, and I'll catch you on my next video review / reaction.
And hit the bell.
3, 2, 1.